over the weekend I had an opportunity to pull up some very fascinating articles regarding this issue, and it strikes me that there are voices out there who absolutely refuse to buy into the bigotry and the prejudice, the xenophobia that has taken place in this country. There are individuals who abhor the kind of nonsense that we're seeing. Again, I am very sensitive to what occurred on 9/11, and I'm very sensitive to the to the families, and I understand they're still grieving. We're all, as a nation, still having to deal with this. This has left an indelible mark on our brains, on our mind, in our spirit. It has, without question. We will forever remember 9/11. But does that give us the permission, if you will, to infringe upon the rights of individuals who are Americans? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. George Washington, in a letter to the Jews of Rhode Island, affirmed the essential nature of America. A government, this is a quote, a government which to bigotry gives no sanction, to persecution no assistance, but generously affording to all liberty of conscience and immunities of citizenship. That's George Washington. We have to give credence to old George, don't we? In 1784, George Washington, seeking to hire craftsmen for Mount Vernon, said, "If they are good workmen, they may be of Asia, Africa, or Europe. They may be Mohammedans or Muslims, Jews or Christian of any sect, or they may be atheists." That's the wisdom of our founders. Now look, I have my quarrels with many of our founding fathers, no question. But the enlightenment that they provide us, the clarity with which they have wrestled with this issue is amazing to me. We have to understand our founders, literally, I mean, if you think about it, I want you to think about this. They were wrestling with this question. Ben Franklin wrote in his autobiography, quote, "So that even if the Mufti, Imam of Constantinople, were to send a missionary to preach Mohammedanism to us, he would find a pulpit at his service." Thomas Jefferson, who owned and read a copy of the Quran, wrote in 1816, quote, "The most sacred of the duties of a government is to do equal and impartial justice to all of its citizens." So the writer of this piece asks the question, today government officials are dictating where private citizens should erect their houses of worship. In 1797, the U.S. Senate approved the treaty with Tripoli, noting, quote, "As the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, as it has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslims." The genius of our founders. John Locke, whose writings influenced our founding fathers, wrote, "Nay, if we may openly speak the truth, and as becomes one man to another, neither pagan, nor Muslim, nor Jew ought to be excluded from the civil rights of the Commonwealth because of his religion. The gospel commands no such thing." It's better for Park 51 to seriously explore an alternative location so long as the new location can effectively serve its constituents. So here we are asking those who will be building this project, the Cordova House, we're asking them to sacrifice their religious freedoms for individuals who have embraced the narrow-mindedness of the New Gingriches of this world, who have embraced the extremist voice of individuals like Sarah Palin, who has embraced the racist inclinations of individuals like Laura Ingraham and Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh, whose intolerance absolutely galls me. And I don't understand why folks are not speaking up. The malignity is beneath those of us who profess to be Christians. The question is, would Jesus allow for this kind of nonsense to occur? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. What would Jesus do? This venom is repugnant to me. Individuals who are moderate in their perspective of Islam understand those Muslims, those terrorists who attacked this nation of ours. Those terrorists ought to be hunted down and killed justifiably. But the voices of the moderate Muslims, those Muslims who love this country, who are making great sacrifice to appease individuals who continue to express the kind of bigotry that not only African Americans face, not only Native Americans face, but those who immigrated here from Ireland and other parts of the world who had to face the same kind of bigotry that we're seeing on display today. What is at stake here? It is our religious freedoms. Our Constitution gives us the right to worship as we please. And so when I hear the voices of intolerance, Newt Gingrich, Sarah Palin, and others, when I hear the detestable, the absolute disgust and contempt toward Muslims, that's what we're seeing displayed on the streets today. And I dare say, I just want to get to this point because coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to deal with the poll that just recently came out about Obama being, Americans considering Obama being a Muslim. I want to see the voices of reason deal with this issue. The T.D. Jakes, the Creflo, all of those individuals who are prominent African American clergy. I would like to see them stand up and denounce the kind of bigotry that we're seeing in this country. Now, you don't have to agree with Islam. You don't have to agree with any other. What I am asking, for those who have audiences in the thousands, who can command stadiums of people, who say or proclaim that they stand for justice, I want to see these individuals denounce the kind of behavior that we're seeing today in this country. The hatred, because if it's Muslims today, it's going to be us tomorrow, and it'll be another group the next day. If we allow this kind of nonsense, this restriction on who can worship and who can't, what kind of nonsense is this? That we will allow this kind of extremism to take root in this country. No, this can't be. So T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Noel Olstein, X that out, other Bishop Noel, whoever. All I'm saying, and I find it interesting, when we look at this issue, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and any other broadcast media, don't you find it fascinating that you don't see the voices of reason? All we see are the extremist voices? T.D. Jakes, where are you? Where are you, voices of God, who can proclaim absolutely everything else? Money cometh. Give me your money and you will receive a blessing. Where are the voices of reason in this country? This is an anathema to what I stand for. And I have to be honest with you, I am gravely disappointed that we are not hearing the voices of reason. I want to know what T.D. Jakes feels about this. I want to know what Creflo Dollar feels about this. I want to know what the other leading voices in the African American community, in the clergy, I want to know how they actually feel. to see individuals who are proclaiming Christ talking about burning Qurans in this country. Don't forget, these are the same kinds of voices that promoted segregation. These are the same kinds of extremist voices that promoted slavery. These are the same extremist voices that promoted the slaughter of Native Americans. The same voices, the same so-called Christians who slaughtered the indigenous in Australia. This is the mentality of individuals who will talk about burning a Quran because of a few, who will compare Islam to Nazism when we know that it wasn't Islam that attacked this country, it was terrorists. Now I can understand if we don't want to, we won't ever give credence to Al-Qaeda building or erecting some community center near Ground Zero. But those Muslims who love the United States of America, who are dying in other parts of the world for the freedoms of this country, they deserve to have their religious freedoms respected in this country. I will never equivocate from that. Yes, I'm a Christian. I love the Lord. But I also stand for what's right. And I'm not going to sit idly by and watch these people in these various communities have to suffer the indignities that we're seeing on display here because we're too afraid to speak up. We don't want to sever. We need to start severing ties with the voices of hate in this country. Franklin Graham. We need to begin severing ties with individuals like that who will absolutely mount disrespectful attitudes toward our people and toward the president and towards individuals who are just trying to live in this country of ours. It's not right, folks. I decry the voices of hate in this country. I abhor the kind of intolerance that we're seeing. And if those of you who can amass great meetings all across the country, if you can't stand up for what's right, why are you even here?